This evening I am finalizing my review on the High Point HP15. This is High Point's entry into the AR world. How about that? This is a carbine rifle. They also make this in a pistol format. Both of these are readily available right now today. Do you want one? Well, why don't you watch this video, hear what I got to say, and then you can make up your own mind. Before we get started, as always, there is no magazine in this rifle. Bolt is locked to the rear. I've ensured it's empty, safe to talk about. However, it is still pointed in a safe direction. And if you're here checking things out, I appreciate that. Please consider subscribing. Hit that button somewhere or another along, I don't know where it's at, but I'm sure you can find it. Click and subscribe. Hang around. I think we do some cool stuff. At least I try to. If not, let me know in the comments what you don't like. I'll try to make the improvements and earn that subscription. Sub $500 ARs. Are they worth having? Well, we've got another example of a sub $500 AR. MSRP $499. You know, street price is going to be a little better than that. What is it all about? So we got a 16-inch barrel that is machined of 4150 chrome moly vanadium. Terminates in a A2 style birdcage flash hider, 1/2 by 28 threads, and it does utilize a carbine length gas system with a 1 in 8 twist. The handguard is a 15-inch aluminum free float handguard, utilizes M-lock slots on the port and starboard as well as the bottom. However, if you look right here, we've got a little QD mount. Great place for a QD mount. Unfortunately, this one doesn't work. If you look right here, you can see a little bit of the barrel nut. I've addressed this with High Point, and it is being corrected. The upper and lower receiver is machined from forged 7075 T6 aluminum, and it is anodized black. According to High Point, the bolt release, magazine release, and charging handle are all mil-spec. It's got a carbine weight buffer and your standard manual safety, so everything on this manual of arms is identical to every other gas impringement AR-15 you've seen, which there's nothing wrong with that. Cast trigger, breaking right around 6.5 pounds. It's more of a one-stage trigger, mil-spec. It's not bad, it's not great, it's not bad. Reliability. We've got probably between 400 and 500 rounds through this rifle. There were 0 malfunctions or misfeeds. Now, throughout the very vast majority of the review, I ran this B&T Print X. Silencer on it, QD'd on the birdcage there. When you add a can, even one that is reduced back pressure like this B&T, you increase your chances of a malfunction. If the gun will run 100% with a can on it, then that gives me a lot more confidence it's going to run 100% with or without. Now you're also looking, this has got an optic on it. Obviously, this rifle ships without an optic, sand sights and all that. But, you know, we shot some 100, 300, and 500 yard groups with it, and for that, I needed some optics. So we're actually reviewing this Crimson Trace Hardline, dedicated 223-556 optic. I thought this would be a great chance to use this on this rifle. Little side note, the Crimson Trace Hardline optic on this turned out to be pretty good scope. Didn't have any problems with that, like that a whole lot. Great addition, really complimented this HP15. So High Point has kind of made a name for himself for making quality, affordable handguns and carbines that are reliable. Now, I know some people are going to disagree with that with me, and that's fine, but based off of my personal experience of all the High Points I've ever shot and reviewed, as well as friends that have it and shot them, we haven't had any issues or problems with them. So I'm basing my opinion that High Points are reliable on the fact that they've been reliable for me and for the folks that I know. Throughout the review, we used 30 round mags from Magpul, Hex Mag, and the old school steel Colt mags with the green and gray followers. We also used a couple of 20 rounders, the steel Colt mags with the green and gray followers, and some Magpul 10 rounders. The rifle was, again, reliable with all those different magazines, as it should be. Think, well, mil-spec, you know, that just means it was designed by the lowest, or it met the standards by the lowest bidder. And that's true, but mil-spec means that it did meet the standards. So that is at least a litmus test that we have to go on. If it's mil-spec, we know it's at least to military standard quality. Whether that's good or bad, that's up to you to interpret. If you don't like the trigger, you can change it with any other trigger that's mil-spec. You don't like the bolt carrier grip. You know, anything that you want to swap on this rifle, as long as it's mil-spec, you know it's going to jive. So that's a pretty good indication of where we're at with this. We use primarily Defender 223 and 5.56, Hornady 223 and 5.56, and some double tap 223, as well as like the Winchester M855 and Winchester White Box. Out at 100 yards, it was shooting just under an inch from a rest with everything. Chad shot some 300-yard groups. It was shooting right around 3 inches or just under about everything. We shot it out at 500 yards, believe it or not, and that's when the heavier stuff, the 77 grain, the 75 grain, that stuff really shined. It was grouping right around 5.5 inches. When we went to the lighter stuff, you know, the 55 grain VMAX and that sort of thing, those groups opened up to 7-8 inches. But that's more of, you know, a 55 grain 223 bullet at 500 yards. It's beginning to kind of peter out. It doesn't buck the wind very well.
All right, going to
so
the next group.
You have to bear that in mind. But I'm just being completely honest. Based off of that, as long as you're pairing whatever round you're using with whatever range you're attempting to jive with that 1 in 8 twist, it's an MOA rifle or maybe a little bit better, which for a rack grade mil-spec rifle, that's probably better than it needs to be. I think mil-spec has got to be 3 MOA or better, maybe wrong. So we're well inside that. It's not anything fancy. A2 pistol grip, collapsible buttstock. It's a machine, it's an AR. If it's built to spec, it's got to work. It doesn't have a choice. This one, I think for the sub $500 market, you're getting a lot that you wouldn't normally get in a sub $500 AR. Made in America, lifetime warranty. Aluminum handguard, free float, M-lock, pick rail, all that. That sure beats the hell out of some, you know, A2 clamshell handguard, right? It is a one rifle does most for most people. If you're shooting, you know, 4,000 or 5,000 rounds a year, you want to go take a class, you want to do a little hunting, you want something that's going to be great for home defense, absolutely. You don't got to go out and spend $1,500 on an AR when you can go out and spend under $500 and have money left over to buy ammo and to take that class. That's certainly far better money spent than just going and buying a $1,200 AR and think that it's going to rise to the occasion. Now, you want to buy something, and then if you want to grow into it and you're like, oh, at some point, I'm sick of this trigger. I don't like this carrier. I want something different. Then you can make adjustments as you see fit. Buying ammo and taking classes is where you need to be spending your money. I've shot some sub $500 ARs before. Some of them were decent. Some of them left a lot to be desired. If you're looking for an AR-15, if you're into high-end ARs, but you want to go out and train and shoot, and you don't want to burn up your high-end ARs, this would make an excellent trainer, an excellent backup rifle. You know, something that you could teach your kids on. If it got beat up or tore up or whatever, who cares? Go out and buy another one. They're making them by the damn truckloads. All right, y'all, so I got my buddy Andrew Barnes here, Barnes Precision Machine. He builds a high-end line of ARs, semi-custom, custom shop rifles. So when it comes to knowing ARs, I hate to compliment him here in front of him, but I probably don't know anybody, and there probably ain't many people more qualified to evaluate an AR. Overall, what do you think?
It's got, you know, it's got all the standard industry features. It's a carbine length. I did notice instead of a lot of guns these days that are the popular mid-length, it does have a pencil barrel, you know, non-GI style barrel nut, you know, similar to our design from, you know, about 2008 era. For a standard, you know, industry free float handguard. Faceted bolt carrier instead of a standard mil-spec machined profile bolt carrier. I think that's a nitrided as well instead of a manganese phosphate. It does have a single stage instead of a 2-stage trigger. It's a heavier trigger pull. I think we all shot decent groups with the gun.
Do you approve of it?
Sure. I mean, again, I don't see anything out of place. It's got a lot of standard industry fare relative to commonality of parts. A lot of people out there building black rifles.
I like the rifle. I'm probably going to buy it from High Point and implement it into some rotation for training, maybe take some of the load off of some of my nicer Colts and that sort of thing. That's all I got, y'all. If you stuck around to the end, bless your heart. I certainly appreciate it. Please consider subscribing, hanging around with us. Let me know what you think, good, bad, right, or wrong. I want you to take care of yourselves and each other. I look forward to seeing you at the range.